Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomas Garza, and thank you all for tuning in here today. Now, I say this, if you've tuned in with me here before on this live, this has been running since January of this year, and we're going through the workbook for students of A Course in Miracles, and we're on lesson 162 today out of 365. So I know if you've tuned in before that you've heard me say that I'm excited about today's topic. And well, I should be. I should be. And wherever you're joining me from, thank you for tuning in. And my hope is that you will connect with your inner teacher today. And wherever you are, you're about to hear some words that you've been meant to hear today. And perhaps you've been headed for this moment for a long, long time. So welcome. And thank you for all of the comments and the shares of this page. We absolutely here at the network appreciate your sharing this message with the entire world, which is why I'm here with the camera and microphone turned on to share a message with the entire world. I mean, why else would anyone be here if it's not to share love, to extend love? This is how, by the way, if you're not familiar with the thought system of A Course in Miracles, this is how we keep what's valuable. We share it. World thinks otherwise, right? We have to hoard and hang on to because we think that there are people out to get us and that the economic system is out to get us. Well, it certainly appears that that's the case, isn't it? Right? But what really matters is who we really are. And when we give and extend love, which is what we are and who we are, when we extend ourselves, we recognize ourselves in other people. We recognize our unity. We recognize our oneness and our power, which is nothing less than the power and authority of God. We are one with God. Today's idea from the workbook is equally powerful, and it's one that I hope you find yourself willing to entertain today. Now, that's my hope, is that you allow yourself, we'll be talking about acceptance and allowing quite a bit in the next few minutes, that you allow yourself, no matter what state of mind you're coming to from, right? You may have had a very blissful day so far, or you may have had a very stressful and hectic day. And well, if you've been up for a little while, you've likely had a little dose of both, which characterizes the so-called human experience, doesn't it? Up, down, up, down, up, down. Everything's great. Then you're deflated the next minute. Something comes along and knocks you off your perch. And then you're back in the gutter, feeling really awful. Insert another adjective for awful. Starts with an S. Yeah. Yeah. Our experience is like that. It doesn't have to be. This is the beauty of recognizing and having the willingness to stand in your own authority. People use the expression stand in your own truth and express your own truth. Well, it's not yours. It's not mine. It's truth itself. And if you prefer to use a capital T, right on. That's perfect. So The very powerful lesson for today that we're talking about is, again, lesson 162 in the workbook for students. This is, I am as God created me. All right. I am as God created me. There are a lot of things here, and it's a very powerful statement that literally, if you recite it and take it to heart, into the very core and essence of your being, it literally dispels the darkness. It is like turning on a light switch in a dark room. Boom, the darkness is gone. Only on a much deeper, on a much larger and more profound level. We're looking at nothing less than the truth about ourselves. So we talked a moment ago about extending love. This is how creation happens. You extend. So God, being love, extends only love. In other words, only himself, herself, I don't know, itself, right? God's not a human being. So the words that we use to describe God really don't make any difference. And here we have human beings literally killing each other for centuries, going to war over a word, literally, over who is the correct or more responsible prophet, right? We have a word that means one thing in one language and a different word in a different language that means the same thing. And these two major groupings of people have been killing each other for centuries and endangering global security for centuries. Y'all know who I'm talking about here. Same word, same concept. Why? Only God is. There is nothing else. In the Eastern practice of Advaita Vedanta, Advaita means only Brahman is, right? Only God is. And we say that in A Course in Miracles. In fact, the text says it, the workbook says it, and several other commentaries that have been written about the Course emphasize this component. God is, only God is. Nothing else is. This is what the Course refers to in its very intro. Nothing real can be threatened. All right? Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. I am as God created me. This dispels all darkness. Darkness being ego attachment, seeing ourselves as separate from and suffering, cut off from, suffering a pandemic, suffering a battle of words in the press, in the media, with everyone trying to garner our attention, and loads of misinformation, loads of true information, a fundamental and collective inability to discern between the two. Yeah, you've got life in 2021. That's what we got here. And the ego, as always, attempts to keep us distracted. The ego does not want you to accept and allow today's idea that you are as God created you. I am as God created me. This is a powerful assertion. It is powerful. I hope, and I want you to feel the power of this assertion and just take it in today. If you do nothing else, if you do not read this commentary, and if you sign off this live stream right now, because there's something else on YouTube, because there is, of course, just recite today's idea as often as you remember to think about it. I am as God created me. Nothing less. All right. This lights up the room. The proverbial room. Like flipping on a light in the darkness. It dispels the darkness, cancels it. It's as though it never existed. Guess what? It didn't, and it doesn't right now. Despite our mad wanderings and our pandemics and our responses to said pandemic and all of the comments that people make on social media, where we could be unifying, we're instead what? Maintaining the illusion of separation. You sick of that yet? I know the answer to that, but you have to answer that question yourself. And you have to decide to take action and initiative upon that answer. And you've got a lot of guides at your disposal, human and non-human. You may have a team that you're in touch with, a team of angels, archangels, teachers, human and non-human. Whatever your spiritual path and practice is, get in touch with your inner teacher, yeah? Which means all of them. If you have one guide, get in touch with your one guide. If you have multiple guides, get in touch with all of your guides. You'll see that they're one and that we are, in fact, all one. I am as God created me. This may or may not come as a shock and a surprise to you. A number of the ideas in A Course in Miracles are just that, shocking to the ego. Yeah, isn't that exciting? Isn't it exciting to be questioning the very foundations of everything that you've been taught? You notice I don't look afraid on this. I'm smiling and laughing. It's liberating. So, to the extent that you're able to do this today, allow this truth to permeate your mind. Allow it to permeate your heart and your being. I am as God created me. And sit with this. When you discover that you've been carried away on your Twitter feed, your Facebook feed, email, right? All kinds of daily activities and things that clamor, people that clamor for your attention. To the extent that you're able today, bring your mind back to this very simple and very powerful statement and allow this truth to enter your mind and heart. It's always been there, you'll find. But you have to make the decision to allow this. So, what's in it for you? When you do, notice I didn't say if, but when. Peace. Nothing short of the peace of God, profound peace, clarity, confidence, ultimate authority, joy, happiness, laughter, feeling energized rather than deflated, feeling the presence of love in your life rather than the lack of love. For starters, if you're on this path, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. You may have had several or dozens and dozens or hundreds of moments of being in touch with who we really are. So my hope, as always, is that these words resonate with you and that you take the time to really let them permeate your being. Do that today. Let these words permeate your being, and not just the words, the meaning of the words, both. As Buddha said, you need to pay attention, you being collective, all of us, me too, pay attention to the words and the meaning, and not dissociate the two. Words are simply symbols. I am as God created me. That's the truth in words. We use the words to communicate with each other, but let us not lose sight of the meaning. We all know the feeling of doing something by rote and just habit, doing it so often that it loses its pizzazz, that it loses its meaning for us. Let's not let that happen today, all right? You've suffered long enough. You've come far enough. You're watching this, so I know for a fact that you've come far enough along the path to truly make the decision to allow this truth to enter your life and to extend it to other people, which is how you keep it. You recognize that you have it and have never lost it. Capital I. Okay. I am as God created me. You are as God created you. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. And Kamal Hai from Pakistan, thank you for joining me here. So guys, I want to remind you that if you're interested in taking a look at some back episodes of this, it is available, every back episode here. This is lesson 162 in the workbook. The YouTube channel for Enlightened World Network has a playlist for every show on the network, this one included. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. And I invite you to check that out. If there is a workbook lesson that you'd like some more clarity on, perhaps I talked about something that is going to help you to gain that clarity. Yeah, so check that out. And guys, as you tune in here today, if you're catching me on the replay, please feel welcome to leave questions and comments. Even if you just want to drop in and say hello, I will see them and I will respond. So again, this is a community. My intent here in bringing this material to you is that it touches you somehow. And if you have a question, you never know who across the world may have the same question and may be drawn to this. Out of all the phenomena that exist in the social media world, someone else that you'll never meet may be drawn to this feed, and your question may go a long way toward someone's understanding and eventual liberation. So think about that if you ever have any doubts about our interconnectedness, which is kind of hard to have those doubts in 21st century society, right, with the internet and everything, but they still crop up, don't they? Yeah, the conditioning is deep. And this statement that we've just talked about today, recited and aloud, goes a long way toward clearing a lot of those blockages, all right? So clear some blockages today. And I'll see you again here tomorrow. Thank you all.